Okay, all right. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's a little after 6, so we were trying to give a little more time to see if anybody else came. But we wanted to thank all of you guys for being here. We appreciate you missing out on all the other events that are happening in Valley Springs to be here with us tonight. So
It's a happening place.
yeah, it's a happening place. That's right. But I'm Michael Martin. I'm the Public Works Director for Calaveras County, and I have a consultant team here with me, and we're here to present on the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. So this has been an effort that the county has been doing to identify a lot of safety issues related to traffic and pedestrian safety throughout the county. So we'll be going through a presentation, and at the end we'll be answering any questions that you may have, and we're seeking your input. So this is the outreach and education portion of our effort, where we engage with the community, let you guys know what the plan is about, get insight from you as to areas of concern that you may have, areas of focus you think we should be looking at. If there's anything in the plan you think might be missing, we're more than happy to get that input from you. So please feel free to let us know if there's other stuff that we should be looking at. I want to recognize Supervisor Tofanelli that's here joining us tonight, and the Highway Patrol is here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this time over to our consultant team, who's going to go ahead and start with our presentation.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Rithvish Patel, go by Rudy. I'm supported by Grishma on my team back there. And we also have Melissa and Sarah supporting us with the outreach and overall project development. So today I'm going to try to quickly go through a presentation going over what a comprehensive safety action plan is, what the CAS process looks like, where we are in the process right now, looking at the collision analysis, how far what we've looked at, what the data shows, what we've identified as some of the collision profiles, what the high injury networks look like, which corridors are the more, have more collisions on them, and then kind of discuss a little bit of the community feedback we've already received. We're here again today because we want to get as much feedback we can before we roll it into a draft and final plan to be adopted. And then we're going to go over some of the projects. You're already looking at them. I'll kind of explain them a little bit briefly, and then we can talk during Q&A and more questions you may have. So what is a comprehensive safety action plan? It's a US DOT Safe Streets for All initiative program where we want to minimize roadway fatalities and severe injuries. We prioritize human life, recognize traffic deaths are severe and they are preventable, design roadways to account for human error, promote slower speeds, expand safe transportation options like walking, biking, and motorcycling, and then advance roadway safety, equitability, address collision risk proactively and reactively. So not only look at the collisions and try to make improvements where they might be happening, but also other areas where you may not see anything happening, but it has very similar characteristics, and we want to proactively make those improvements. And then align our transportation and land use policies and improve and use innovative strategies that may have worked at other areas that could be beneficial to the county and your roadways. And the ultimate goal is to eliminate all traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries. So where are we in the process? So we started this project back in April 2025. When we first started the project, we always started with data collection, looking at all the existing documents, what the county has done so far. The data we collect is from 2020 to 2024. It's always 5 years prior to when we start the process, and it was up to 2024 in December. We looked at the collision, and we do the Switters and TIMS data. That's almost all databases, all CHP and fire and everyone reports their collision information there. So we aggregate all that data, put it into our robust GIS dashboard where we collect the collision trends, analysis, we identify where your high risk networks are, where your severe injuries are happening, where your fatalities may be happening. And then kind of first thing we did was we went out to the TAC, which is a technical advisory committee that's composed of key folks like Caltrans, Fire, CHP, Health Department, and all of them, to give them an input, hear their input on what we're doing and how our plan can benefit with them. Then we also reached out to the stakeholders for community input. Then we started developing countermeasures based on the initial feedback we got. After that, we went back to the TAC and stakeholder for further input, kind of discuss what we've been seeing. Then we started developing safety projects, and then now we're here for a second meeting to kind of go over what we've developed as safety projects and kind of get more input from you, see what you think will help the plan get better. Then we're going to develop a draft plan, get it approved, sent to the board for approval. Once they approve it, it will be a live document, a living document that will get updated over, every 3 to 5 years. But it's a key document in order to go after grant funding. And those grant funds then can be used to put the improvements that we're identifying here, especially the more costly ones. So what is your collision data showing you? So you have 356 severe injury collisions happening around the county. The top 3 factors are people hitting objects, overturned, and head-on type collisions. One thing to highlight is a lot of your collisions are happening on your roadway segments, and a lot of that is due to unsafe speed, DUI, and then improper turning, because you can go pretty fast on a lot of the county roadways. So that's, and then 36% of those are happening also at nighttime. And then this kind of shows you the breakup of the different types of bicyclists, peds involved. A lot of it is a passenger car and pickup trucks. And you do have a noticeable percentage for motorcyclists, because you do have a lot of motorcyclists out here. So this kind of just based on the KSI, which I mentioned is killed severe injury that we see. Those are weighted higher in a comprehensive safety action plan because they're the ones we're trying to reduce and bring down to 0. So based on that, these are your top roadways with those type of collisions. This doesn't mean these are the only ones we're looking at. We're still looking at every single roadway within the county. But you know, Little John Road came up as one of the top ones with Baldwin Street, Railroad Flat Road, O'Byrne's Ferry Road, Mountain Ranch Road, South Front Road, Hogan Dam, Pool Station, Burson, and Murphy's Grade Road. And these are just the KSI collisions that are happening along them. And then I'll have Melissa go over the community feedback we've been getting.
Yeah.
So again, about the summer, we initiated community outreach. So the 3 bullets you see here, we had an interactive map, a survey, and a report a concern tab on the county's website. We had a project webpage there, allowed those 3 methods were available. And then we also had a first round of community meetings. Again, that occurred in the summer. We had, those meetings were virtual, and there was one in each of the 5 county districts. So those online portals that I mentioned were open from the summer to November the 15th, 2025. And the community feedback summary that I'm about to present will reflect the data collected up to that date. So Rudy just went over the collision analysis data. So in addition to the collision analysis, we looked at the feedback that we received from the community as well. So this is the interactive map. Here you see an example of it. So this was on the project website. You can zoom into your location of concern. You had the ability to add a marker and then indicate whether your issue is related to an automobile, a pedestrian, a bicyclist, motorcyclist, and you also have the ability to input beyond your comment photos as well. So we received 60 comments from 25 people. Common comment themes included traffic calming and control, pedestrian and bicycle safety, road design and maintenance, school zones and intersections. So within the interactive map, you can see comments that were inputted by others as well, and you could upvote or downvote those other comments. And so here you see the most upvoted comments were related to steep grading, as well as reckless driving and speeding, and some recurring accident areas as well. We also had a survey, and we received 52 comments from 45 people. We asked a number of different questions, including the first bullet, where do you live? The majority of respondents noted that they lived in Valley Springs. That was 38%, followed by Murphy's at 13%. And we asked, what is your most traveled to community? 31% said that they traveled to Valley Springs, followed by 23% to San Andreas. And then we try to capture data for travel to your most traveled community, really focusing on those segments, and then travel within your most traveled to community, trying to extract information at intersections. Excuse me. So for travel to your most traveled to community, major factors impacting comfort included speeding drivers at 26%, excuse me, followed by passing at 24%. And then for travel within your most traveled to community, the factors impacting comfort included speeding drivers at 23%, followed by challenging intersections. And then for report a concern, we received one comment. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We received one comment related to conditions on Highway 4. This particular commenter noted speeding at around 60 miles per hour and passing occurring on the shoulder. This commenter also suggested improvements such as installing turn lanes. And then again, we had a first round of community meetings. Comment themes are listed here. Some of the infrastructure improvements that were recommended included widening the roads, turnouts, and guardrails. So in addition to some of these projects, there's also an emphasis on some programs. So here we have listed safety and education programs as well. And the last bit of comment feedback, they noted that main issues included speeding, DUIs, distracted driving, illegal passing, and poor road improvements.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I'm just gonna, since we have a small group, I'll kind of keep this brief, and then we can spend some time looking at the boards and answering more questions. So we came up with about 5 projects. One is more educational, that's the 6th one. And I just want to quickly go over them so you have a kind of a broad idea of what we're envisioning. So a lot of the collision data, the community input we saw, we want to improve your roadway segments. So what are things that we can do to help improve your roadway segments? A couple of them are adding a longitudinal rumble strips. So those are the vibration strips along the edge line where there's space or in the center line. It's to help drivers stay within their lane when they're driving, especially around turns when they're driving aggressively, or during nighttime or drowsy conditions to keep them more alert. And then unfortunately, when people are drinking and driving, to hopefully keep them a little more under control. But those are proven countermeasures on these type of roadway segments to help improve corridor safety. And then the other important one is installing warning signs, especially on your curves and as you're approaching curves, especially signs that alert you should take this curve at this speed, kind of showing you the chevron arrows to show like, hey, there's a curve here, drive more carefully. Because the last few days I've been driving around the county roads, and there are plenty of roadways where there's just no sign, and sometimes I'm just zooming along, I'm not even trying to speed, and then I would be like, oh, it would have been helpful if there was a curve warning here. I would have taken this a little more carefully, So those things would help overall safety, especially for the speeding drivers. And then installing radar speed feedback signs also, this is something more so when you get into towns from the more rural parts of the county. So when you're getting into the more urbanized area where you have shops, people more so crossing, kids and all that, you want to put these radar speed feedback signs. So they would accompany the signs that add on with like, slow down, you're in a 35 mile per hour zone. You would put these signs near them where it alerts the driver how fast they're going. And in some cases, if they're exceeding a limit, it'll flash slow down to them to kind of better alert drivers as they're entering a town area to slow down, drive a little more carefully, and be a little more cautious. So these type of countermeasures combined with maybe adding some more speed limit signs and other improvements. The county's already working on a roadway sign safety audit project, which is already looking at the county signs and making improvements as necessary. And this data will just kind of augment that and add further safety countermeasures to help just build upon the work they're already doing. So the CRF you see there, it's a crash reduction factor. It's a FHWA guidance that if you use these 3 and some more improvements, you're going to see roughly 30% reduction in your collisions along these corridors. So this is important to improve your county roads to make them safer. This map shows you the roadway segments we've identified. A lot of them are tied to that high injury network we talked about where there were segments with a lot more collisions. So they're shown in here. Then there's also pockets within some of the roadway segments that are facing some challenges. So we've identified those. You'll see this list on project board 1 over here. It's the same list there. So if you want to have a closer look, and if you see there's some corridors you think need it, just let us know. We really want to hear from you so we can add to this list. Project 2, this one's turnouts, but based on the feedback we've been getting and also just looking at the roadways, we're going to also enhance this project for turnouts to also include guardrails and potentially high friction surface treatments, especially in the areas where you have icy conditions. especially in the more northerly parts of the county. When you go, they don't get too much sunlight, and the road stays wet, or in some of the bridges where the concrete doesn't, it gets a little icy. You want to add a added layer of friction, which is a high friction surface treatment, and that adds more friction. And this is also beneficial on curves on your local roads, or sorry, county roads, to just add better grip. So when you turn, you're a little more safer. The turnouts are an important countermeasure because a lot of the routes that I'll show on the next slide here, they're also on your evacuation routes. So this is really helpful for fire. During fire emergency, turnouts help either to move passenger vehicles out of the way or let the emergency vehicles use those areas to kind of negotiate around to get to wherever they're trying to get to. So these are the areas we've identified, and based on the input from the last 4 meetings and this meeting, we may expand on this list. So this is not a final list. Nothing I'm showing here is final. This is why we're here. We want to hear from you, so make sure we can get everything rolled into the final plan. And then the next 2 projects are more related to how do we improve your unsignalized intersections. So it's a 2-pronged approach. One of those is we improve the signs at your intersections, especially at your unsignalized intersections. For that, you want to install better, larger warning signs to alert of the intersection. If it's a stop control you're approaching, if it's a free flow, if you're approaching a stop, letting you know, hey, cross traffic doesn't stop, so you're aware, like I need to stop, look both ways, or if it's always stop, making sure you're aware of that. To further enhance the sign and add more emphasis, especially during cloudy weather or during adverse weather, or even at nighttime, you want to add flashing beacons. These can be added at the signals, or at the unsignalized locations, or in advance of those locations, especially to alert folks like, hey, you're approaching something where you're gonna have to use a little more caution, pay attention, and let them know that you may have to come to a stop, or there'll be cross traffic approaching, things of that nature. So if you use these type of countermeasures, you'll see roughly about 20% reduction in your collisions. Again, this is just an initial map we've identified based on where we're seeing the collisions happening near. And we're going to add to this list based on the community feedback we've got and what we hear from you here today. Then the next part of improving your unsignalized intersections is we also have to improve the striping on the intersections too. So we want to ensure your intersections have a stop legend that shows up, like it tells you it's a stop, right? Instead of just the sign. So it's an added thing. So if you don't see the sign, you can see the pavement legend telling you there's a stop ahead pavement legend or a yield ahead. Or when you're approaching school zones, it tells you there's a school crossing ahead and lets you know that, hey, I need to slow down, I'm in a school crossing zone. Things of that nature. So it really enhances your drivability and makes you more aware of what's happening on the road, along with adding high visibility crosswalks where you have a lot more children or just people using those crosswalks. You want to make them high vis, not just the 2 bars you see, so you can see it better and drivers are more alert looking at it. And then also adding signs around that part of project 3. So it's like 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand for improvements at your unsignalized intersections. And this list is kind of going to have a little bit of duplication between 3 and 4. And some might be, in some cases, you might already have the signs out there, but the pavement is not up to standard. So you want to fix that portion of that intersection. So again, we just want to get as many locations as we can identified and try to build together a good plan for this. And then one of the things we talked about was that roughly almost 40% of your collisions are happening at nighttime. So we definitely want to look at where practical, add street lighting. Of course, we won't be able to add it like in remote part of the county, but more so, at your more urban centers where you have more people traffic, nighttime traffic, people are actually using the roadways at nighttime. You want to, if there's gaps like at a crosswalk or unsignalized intersection in a part of town that's being used, you want to add lights strategically to enhance those facilities so people can see those cars coming out of the minor legs and people are more noticing of cars that are out there, especially at nighttime, to improve the safety overall. This is just a map again showing those locations. This can be also, more can be added to this based on your feedback, what your experience at nighttime. And then last one is more of an educational program. The county's health department has an alcohol awareness program, but based on the data we're seeing, we're just reinforcing that continuous alcohol awareness will be beneficial to this county because we do have a lot of DUI collisions. You can see 84 injury collisions, 31 of them were fatal or severe within the county. So that is a preventable death if we do better with education and trying to minimize drinking and driving. And then one thing I wanted to add was recently the county got the Office of Traffic Safety grant So they're working on that through also their public health route department. They got 143,000 where they're going to start using these to help improve safety for vulnerable users such as pets, bikes, and teens. These are the bullet points kind of highlighting the overall game plan for the grant. It's going to be traffic safety education, car seat education, bike helmet distribution, community bike rodeos, teen traffic safety courses, certified seat technician, partnership with local law enforcement, and survey of local studies guides to further traffic safety strategies. So this is already in the works. The county is looking at it, and then you'll be seeing this being put into place. Next steps, we're here right now, want to get all the feedback we can, take all this feedback we've been receiving for the last 5 meetings, kind of aggregate all that data, refine all our projects, then roll all those into a draft plan. The draft plan then will be presented to the board for approval. Once they approve it, it will be adopted. And it's important to get this plan adopted because it's a precursor requirement to go after certain grants, like this SS4A Straight Streets for All grant, and that's coming up towards the end of this year. So we want to get this plan in place so it can go after those grants, plus there's other grant opportunities. So this just really helps give you a solid, defendable data that all those grant agencies look for to give you funds, and it would be really beneficial for the county. And then with that, we'll open it up to questions and we can talk some more. Yes?
So, we got several things. First of all, I would really like Calaveras County to take the lead on, where's Jerry? Take the lead on getting us started eliminating or making those LED lights on headlights illegal.
Oh, for the cars?
People go, oh, but I can see further. Well, yeah, but the big old car coming at you is blind. Mm-hmm. So I have to use those things on the side a lot of times when I'm driving at night because they're just freaking blinding me. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that I should have to give up driving because they want to blind me.
That's fair. Yeah.
So there's number one. So I leave that to you, Gary. Get it started.
I'll take care of it.
I know you will. Well, at least give it voice, because I'm not the only one that feels that way. And then also, in San Andreas, we all travel in San Andreas a lot. And I think the speed limit's 35. But
30.
30 on St. Charles Highway.
Okay, 30. Well, everybody speeds, it seems like. And we get semis going through there. And the other day, 2 weeks ago, and I went to CHP and I told them, I said, a Sierra Pacific truck had already dropped his load of logs and he had that back section up on the back of him. Mm-hmm. And all I could see was I was 1 second away from him running over me from behind.
Oh my God.
When I was turning, I had my signal on, I was turning in to go to Subway. And he's flying and he had to dart around this way. Now, if he'd had a load of logs, the houses on the buildings on the other side have been taken out probably, or I'd have been taken out. But I think we need to do something about, especially the trucks going too fast. I hear from people all the time that they almost got smashed, from people speeding, and I don't know, maybe it takes more people on the street, I don't know. But when I went in, they went, yeah. Well, that tells me they're not going to do anything about it, or maybe they can't do anything. I don't know. But I'm here today because I had 1 second. Oh, I'd have been toast. You'd have missed me, I'm sure. And what else was there? There was something else. Oh, well, I know we're not talking about, we are kind of talking about San Andreas. We had studies for Pope Street, remember?
Pope Street.
And I went to both of those, I think it was a couple of years ago, both of those, and on Lewis Avenue, where the volunteer
Lewis
center is,
going one way.
it's pitch black. When there's no moon or when it's cloudy, it's pitch black. And you leave 49 and you go down this steep hill. Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes kids use their skateboards in there. They walk all the time. And one kid face planted and I went, well, I hope they learned. But anyway, it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. And the neighbors have asked me for years, when the county gonna put a light there? And I said, well, you probably better off when we finally get buildings in here, we'll stick one on the end of the building. Huh. But
And I think we're gonna write that location down and we can check.
Good,
what
because
the
I put
infrastructure is.
that, I put that on the.
Oh, you put it on the online
On
platform?
the map
Oh,
twice.
perfect.
Those
Okay.
other, no, not these maps, but
Oh,
on the Pope Street thing.
oh, I see.
And I went back and I talked to them, planning about it,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of times, and they just went, well, no, that's not on there. I go, well, I know. Anyway, so what we say, I hope you take,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you're gonna take it serious, okay? But, because these are things that we are learning in real time.
Yeah, we'll look at the collision data near there and we'll add it to our
Well,
street
you
lighting
probably won't
projects.
see any collision data. I know, a lot of people say, you know what they do? They wait to see how much blood's on the road and then,
Oh, no,
when it gets to a certain level, then they do something.
Right,
And
right.
I understand that. I would like this to happen before.
Correct, proactively, we want to do it. So we will definitely take your feedback into account and add it
Okay.
to our street lighting project list, which is
I
5.
added, yeah.
And she was writing the note for it, so now we have that location.
Yes.
Thank
We'll
you.
get that added to our
Oh.
list too, for safety improvements.
And I'll just add that as part of the plan, there will be a public outreach chapter and there's also a comment matrix. So any projects that maybe they don't rise to the surface, they will be listed in the document. And as mentioned, this is a living document. So we have record of those locations that are important to you. And I think that one of the important outputs of the plan is the project list, right? So there's a variety of other plans that the county is pursuing as well. And so all of these plans are intended to work together and to find the right opportunity to fund different locations.
Well, I've already mentioned them, so
Right.
we will put them in. the
Yeah,
plan.
we'll look at it for this
You're
plan
not
as well.
asking me to go on the computer and.
Oh, no,
Yeah, no, we got
We
it.
wrote it down already. Yes, ma'am.
So I've lived here since 2008, and I guess you talked about Highway 26 in another meeting going west.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing with that, go ahead.
So I can take that. First, this effort is focused on county maintained roads, but we are addressing needs on the highways.
Okay.
The highways won't be included in this plan, but that information that we're receiving regarding safety concerns on the highway is getting passed on to Caltrans. So like I mentioned, they document all the public comment we get, and we take those comments and give them to Caltrans and say, hey, we've been getting feedback from the public about these concerns. So although it's not included in the plan, there is an effort to try to pass that information along. But I will provide an update. We're working with Caltrans on a safety study for that intersection, which is being conducted right now. You may have even noticed a few signs have changed a little bit, things, yeah. So they're incrementally kind of making some small safety changes, but there's a behind the scenes effort of doing an actual project study for that intersection. We'll do a project study report, and that's going to give us information and insight onto changes to that intersection to get some control in there,
Which
whether it's
intersection are you talking about?
Highway 26 and Olive Orchard.
Oh, no,
in
I
Gardner?
was just talking about, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, all
That-
right.
That is. a
That's the
bad
one that came up
crossing.
at the last meeting. We spent a
Yeah.
lot of time talking about that. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's okay though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole section of 26
Oh,
is.
good.
Yeah,
Very good.
sure, yeah.
Very good. Yeah, and kind of along the lines of what
Marty.
Marty was saying, the trucks, I just have noticed that especially those rock quarry trucks, they are not going the speed limit. I don't know if you've ever noticed driving like from Stockton up 26, you can actually see boulders that have come off because they're going too fast around the curves. So yeah, I don't know if more highway patrol is needed, but I have no idea what can be done about that. Maybe reaching out to those, to the rock quarry people, I don't know. But that's
Maybe
just,
cameras,
huh?
maybe cameras where they send you a ticket in the mail.
That's a
It's
good
still a
idea.
pilot program, a lot of
Focus
agencies
on the
are trying.
trucks. Well,
Yeah.
the cars too, but.
Cars. Yeah, so, and I understand you're not really dealing with the major highways, but I think there's been a lot of deaths on Highway 26, and people are in a lot more, way more in a hurry now more than ever for some reason. Like, I never felt unsafe, you know, I used to travel to Stockton 5 days a week. But now I don't go on 26, I go backwards around. People are literally passing on before a hill, blind corners over hills. And I just don't understand like why nothing is being done about that. A lot of people have lost their lives or been injured. In other places, I know that I've driven on 2-lane highways, they have those dividers, right? I don't know what you call them, but
Delineators sometimes,
yeah,
like the flexible
and
posts.
so it literally makes it so you cannot pass. So
Yeah.
just a thought. Here in Valley Springs, I don't know how many accidents there are, but all the way that they've lined up the different parking lot entrances is totally askew. And it'd be nice, again, this is a highway road, I guess, but it would be nice if at some point we could put at least a couple of roundabouts. I know a lot of people don't know how to use them or have to get used to, like, that live in the country has to get used to using those, but it's just very challenging, especially when it's like rush hour around here to get, I plan my trip and my errands to go this way and then the other side because I don't want to cross the highway there. And also along the lines of what you were saying, that on some of the roads, there's no barriers. There's nothing like to stop you from literally going off.
The guardrail, yeah.
Yeah, the guardrails. And we get a lot of visitors, to this area. We're getting more and more visitors every year. Like it picked up during COVID, right? And so a lot of people at night when it's dark, it's even for me, and I've been driving these, I used to have to drive 4 hours a day to different counties, daytime, nighttime, so I know the roads, but if you don't, and you're going too fast, yeah, you're gonna overcorrect, whatever, it's definitely, I think more guardrails would be needed. I'm sure there's other things, maybe I'll think of more
So
stuff.
those little bumpy things on the edges of the road, those are helpful to let you know you're too close to the edge.
Yeah,
Especially
but
when
the
there's-
problem is
Especially
that,
when you're being blinded.
yeah, one of the issues too, and this happened to my mother-in-law, is she was looking at her phone, and she shouldn't have, and she went off the lip of the asphalt, which made her car, do this. She overcorrected and then ended up flipping and going into a field and had a fractured back. So there's not enough space between the asphalt and the dirt, and that lip there actually causes people to lose control, overcorrect, flip, or go into the other lane.
I can see that.
So widening.
Yeah.
Shoulder widening, adding
Yeah.
some extra shoulder area so you have some recovery zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you have specific areas where that incident happened, then let us know so we can mark it on our maps here and we'll try to
Yeah.
take a look at that. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Is that a highway or county road?
Well, that was the highway.
It was on the highway.
Yeah.
We could still pass the information on though, so if
Okay.
you're willing to share that.
That's
glad to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Caltrans hasn't been through there it's wore away on the shoulder because normally
The shoulder
55 miles an hour is supposed to be so wide with an easement. 70 is even wider, but I guess if they haven't been through there and it's been worn down because people have been going off the edge of the road for whatever, so.
Yeah,
you
like
put it
they'll
on
come
there,
and they'll
we'll
pack
look
it
at
up again every, couple of years, but then
Yeah.
it just gets worn off, so, yeah. And I guess you'd have to really collaborate with San Joaquin County if you're gonna go out that direction, right?
Yeah, well, so Caltrans District 10 covers San Joaquin County, Calaveras, and all the
Oh,
other
okay.
surrounding counties, so it's a broad
Yeah,
area
it's
of coverage.
California.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no, for sure, yeah, you're happy to pass that on, yeah.
I thought of another one. when you leave here and you go just before the golf course or just after St. Andrews, and you go up over that little hill around there,
Yeah,
at a
that's
certain
bad.
time of day in the evening, you are blind. Then you've got the cars blinding you. I mean, the sun is like there, and you've got one hand here, and that's always been dangerous. It's too steep a hill right there. You can't see what's around it. And then another thing I was thinking, I've lived here 30 years plus, and there's been several times when I've almost been creamed coming out of Silver Rapids to turn left to come down here. And the people coming from here, I think it's 45 ahead or something like that. Well, they just get going, but they're going downhill. And, if you decide to, like when I go out of my driveway, if I gotta look, and then when I decide to go, I gotta really go, because you can get creamed. But they, years ago, they cut that back, that hillside there on the right back, but then realized it wasn't cut back enough because there was a motorcycle and a truck death. And so they cut it back some more. But that doesn't stop the people from flying through there. So if we kept, what's the speed limit in town here?
In town? Oh,
Right here is
well,
35.
it's 35 until you get
35.
past, like Taco Bell, then it goes to 45, and then past.
No, I mean going to
26.
Rancho, out 26.
I think it's 35 and then it goes 40.
I think so.
When does it go to
And then
40?
maybe 45?
It goes to 45. They're just after you turn the bend by the gym past Mangili
By
Road.
Hogan Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it goes from 40 to 45.
So if it could just stay 40 or less until you get past Silver Rapids where it's flat.
I think a lot of people though with that Silver Rapids situation that are going out at Heineman and 26.
Say that again?
They're going down on Berkesee to Heineman because they can fully see, like that's how our buses go. I don't ever send them out on Silver Rapids just because they don't have enough power to get going with the traffic there.
I'm just talking about on 26.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, so you go down though a little bit further.
I would like them to go slower.
It's 40
So
miles
I
an
think-
hour through there is what it is.
I know, but they can't, it's a steep hill coming down, it's a hill going down. So if they're going 40 miles an hour or 45, whatever it is, and they see someone trying to get out of there, they can't stop or slow down quick enough. So they have to start out slower, I think.
Any other questions?
So I have something, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm the transportation director of Calaveras County School District. So I do have a question because we've actually been working with CHP and they can't help us, but Double Springs Road. How would we get
my
a
district.
crosswalk on Double
Kind
Springs
of
at
part of
Toyland? I have students that are crossing. You can tell the parents all you want, no, they're not crossing. But unless someone's standing out there and writing every single kid up, but really is it the kid's fault when their parents are parked on the other side?
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? But I do have some concerns because there's so many. Our busing is coming back. We are getting more busing and everything, but still there's gonna be parents that are gonna always be parked on the other side. So my concern is with Double Springs being a county road, is there a way for us to get a crosswalk with signage so those kids can properly cross?
Where on Double Springs are you talking?
Which
Toyon Middle School.
Which one?
Toyon Middle School?
Toyon Middle School.
Yeah, maybe there's an option
Not
for
where Bonnie
no
is.
parking on that side of the road. So
Goes
they're forced to park on the
across.
side of the bus stop.
But the problem is we don't have, you guys, we don't have enough off-road parking. It's a ditch.
I see, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
we're trying to, us as transportation, we've been trying to come up with just getting that so it's more visible. So cars aren't flying through if they have to stop. I mean, they were paying for someone to go out, but that's a liability for our own employee to stand out on Double Springs Road and cross them with no crosswalk. Like right here, I know they changed it. We do have a cross guard sometimes down here, but just having that signage for those students.
Okay, yeah, we can look at that.
Yeah, we can look at
Yeah.
that for sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, again, I guess this is really for you to pass on to Caltrans. I love the four-way stop at Burson Road and Highway 12. I don't know how we got it, until the truck landed on the top of that building, you know, that was the end. But when you are going west on 12 and you stop and you want to turn and go north on Burson Road, they put these stripes, and this is where the lane is, and then the sign is over to the side. I have had to sit there to turn right before, because the guy behind me pulled up on the stripes and went right.
Like it was a right-hand turn?
Yeah, they did too. Yeah, I'm in the lane and they're on the stripes, so two of us can't turn right
Cut
at
the
the same
corner, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So are there little pipes or something? You can't go all the way to the intersection, or when I'm pulling my trailer, I won't be able to make that
Or use
turn.
like those,
But something, it's stupid how,
Yeah, you can do some temporary delineator posts that are like glue downs you can put in that area where it's striped. You
yeah.
can tell Caltrans to do
And-
it, so if you physically can't go in there.
Okay, don't say medium, okay?
that's a bad word here.
Like what you were saying
Don't
about
say
the
what?
passing,
Yeah.
I used to have to commute on
Yeah.
Latrobe Road. I don't know if anybody's driven
Yeah.
Latrobe Road.
Yeah.
I did that for 5 years. You can't fix stupid. I don't care how many signs,
Yeah.
lines, delineators, I don't care what you cannot fix stupid.
agree.
Passing on hills, turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's almost enough room for that, what you're talking about, because I go every day, I live right down Merson Road, to put a right-hand turn lane in right there. So if you're
You
going
might
to
as
turn.
well, because people make those
Yeah,
stripes
they
a
make it
turn lane.
anyway, and so then it would increase traffic flow going west, continue to go west.
That's true.
Why they did that, I don't know why they did that. That was part of the design, I guess, but you're right, before
They
we stop.
designed that median in Murphy's too, so same people.
Yeah, should be the same engineers. They're engineers, is the thing.
So,
Yeah.
But I can bring that up to COG. I'm on the COG board for a long time, and Caltrans is there, so I'll bring it up.
Thank you.
bring up my light on Lewis Avenue too.
On Lewis, with the Pope Street project is going to be starting.
That's a
here.
county project. so
That's a
yeah.
county
Yeah, but I went
project.
down there and they said, no, there's no light on Pope. I said, you told me there would be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know exactly where you want it.
That
because
project,
it's dark.
yeah,
You're,
The-
that project's in
It's
design
scary.
right now, so.
So I live off of Silver Rapids on the high side. And so when I come down and I want to leave my driveway, the people are going uphill, but they're flying. I guess they think they got to pick up some speed. But I can't see them. So I look to the left, I look to the right, I look to the left again, and I dash, but they're right there on top of me. I'd like to have one of those mirrors on that pole across the street so I can see who's around the corner.
And Gary, I did
Can we
tell
do that?
Rudy about Burson Road and Comanche Parkway, that Y there, the triangle. When you're going west on Comanche Parkway and you want to turn left onto Burson Road, trying to creep, you go into the oncoming lane so that you can see if the guy's going 65 when he comes over the hill from Comanche.
from Comanche, yeah.
You know where I'm talking about.
I know where you're talking about.
Exactly.
So
So
would
that's.
one of those big mirrors help there too, so you can see? who's
No, a
coming?
mirror, because they are coming over a hill, they have no stop sign, they have no reason to be going slow, and you're trying to pull on. You don't have we have a yield, we don't have a stop sign, but it wouldn't do any good, you can't
I
see
get
them
that,
coming.
yeah.
It's a good spot for a roundabout.
A roundabout. That's the answer to everything.
There was a time when everybody's
It's
screaming.
its own roundabout almost, without any center.
If you could do a roundabout with only one lane, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be so scary for people.
Yeah.
But once you've been on one they've tried to do everything in the one
Yeah.
roundabout, people get freaked out about it, and then they're never, ever, ever gonna think about it.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the presentation part, but we want to take the rest of the time for you to visit the other boards and talk with us one-on-one. If you have any other questions or comments, we could take notes and put them on the boards. You could point out specific areas.
So you're
I
writing
wanna-
down the ones we said, right?
Yeah, we
Yes,
got
we wrote down
those.
everything right now.
We got those, but if there's any others you want to add, you're more than welcome to. I want to thank the team here, consultant team, for doing the presentation. I want to hand it to them. This is their 5th meeting, and this is 3 in a row this week. So they've had a long week, so I appreciate their time. And I want to thank the Veterans Hall. I don't think anybody's here from Veterans Hall, but thank us for letting us use the facility. I want a special recognition to Lori. Lori's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes and getting these meetings coordinated, scheduled, work for the consultants, getting the presentation done, bringing the refreshments, all the great stuff that Lori's been doing. So special thanks to her for all of her work. And yeah, so feel free to take the rest of the time to go around and visit the other boards and ask any other questions you might have. And thank you again for coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.